there's so many different things you can do in nursing and beyond nursing. And sometimes people don't know they can go into research and go, into technology and entrepreneurship. There's so many things. Say Hollywood.
Hollywood.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Carlos. I am a ER trauma nurse here in Arizona. I also teach at University of Arizona's College of Nursing.
Oh, okay. So my style when I teach is not just teaching just the skills of nursing. It's also teaching, the human side of nursing, self-care. Taking care of ourselves, taking care of each other. Try to not just say all the good things or what nursing is, but also what nursing isn't, or also pretty much being transparent about the mistakes that I made, so that they know that it's a long road. It's not just collecting a paycheck. It's not just taking care of people. It's a lot more than that. Yes. It's good, but yeah, that was probably like year 6, going on 7. So then I definitely feel that I was totally fine doing that. And that's one thing that I tell students, because a lot of them hear about this travel nursing. It's like, there's a lot of opportunities out there, but if you go into travel nursing, you're on your own. They welcome you in, they're very nice and welcoming. You get your couple of shifts of orientation. That's it. And then you're also doing sometimes the shifts or the parts of the floor that other nurses don't want to necessarily work on or work with. It can be tougher.
I never feel comfortable with nursing until I was like 3 years in, for real.
That's fair.
At least 3 years.
I tell nursing students, when you graduate, it takes about a year to kind of get your head out of your butt, and then it takes about another year and a half to kind of start really knowing what the differences are between things you learn and what you know and how it really is. There's a big gap in that. Often doesn't get talked about. It's cool. I share this often with the students, and I think self-care revolves around developing and or having appropriate coping mechanisms and or support groups, and that could be, support group could be boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, it could be your parents, it could be your children, it could be your church or mosque or temple. Coping mechanisms could be exercising, hot yoga, or being in a band, or joining an improv comedy group. Honestly, just being able to always have an open line of dialogue and always being honest with yourself about certain things. Because nursing can be rough. And we see a lot and we hear a lot. And it's important to be able to address that. And sometimes, like I tell my students, once in a while, the happy hour is nice, to go with your nurses, fellow colleagues, your doctors, your nurses, your techs, and go get a beer after your shift. But I think part of the problem is when you start doing that every day, and that turns into your coping skill, coping mechanism. And what happens is that ultimately it seeps out. It seeps out other ways, unpleasant ways. You start being unpleasant with the people you care about, with your kids, with your parents, your significant others. Self-care really is being honest with yourself, having appropriate coping skills, and activities, having fun. Not just going to work and working 3, 4, or 5 shifts a week and burning out and being a hermit.
That's kind of how I get when I get really overwhelmed and just isolate myself. It's so easy to do.
Easy to do, but then I think that's where you have to step that's where you have to step up and do what's not easy, right? because it's not easy being transparent. It's not easy asking for help or confiding in people about your feelings. But I think it's necessary. And I think part of that journey builds courage, more empathy, more understanding, and kind of makes us better nurses maybe along the way.
I went through a tough time these last couple of years. My family, they were really there for me. My mom, especially, and a lot of therapy. Got swole.
Yeah.
That was the other therapy. So,
but that exercise part of it is so important.
Yeah.
You know, and exercise, you know, and it's not just good for your health, but it's good for your mental well-being. I actually been going to therapy since June of last year. I go once a month. But therapy has been good to me. I mean, you know, just exploring, you know, some things from the nursing side, obviously, and things from my own personal life. You kind of find that some of those things are actually kind of linked or tied.
It's hard for guys to be like acknowledge that they need help.
Yeah, but I think it's important for anybody to seek out help, and you know, because of all the things we talked about, all the other reasons. I mean, how are you gonna take care of someone else physically, you know, mentally, spiritually, emotionally? You yourself aren't there. I'm sure many of us do. The things that I mentioned earlier, you know, hot yoga. I've been doing that for 6 months now. But I've been working out as well. I did join improv comedy.
Nice.
Yeah. It's called the Neighborhood Comedy Theater in Mesa, NCT. Shout out NCT. But you know, but it's
amazing.
And for me, I've always kind of maybe wanted to do stand up, so improv wasn't really a thing. But I saw it as another avenue or another activity I could do that would be good for my soul.
Yeah.
And would be good for my heart, and it would be just outside of my comfort zone as well. So kind of doing something I'm not as comfortable with, being on stage. And see, that's the thing, is that like a lot of my things is because I already feel comfortable, like with you and like, you know, and certain people, and then so we can joke around and be funny and have a good time. But getting up on stage, you know, doing that for people you don't know, it can be a little nerve-wracking. Yeah, but at the same time, it's you know, it's been fun and it's been therapeutic as well. You know, along with the hot yoga and the working out and everything else. Again, it's like if you don't have appropriate ways to channel those energies and the appropriate communication skills to talk about those things, and I think that's a detriment to the person, it's a detriment to the patients.
Team, yeah.
To the team. Yeah. Everyone falters.
Do you feel like a totally different person compared to like this time last year?
Yeah, and even 2 years ago and 3 years ago, you know, they talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? What's at the very top? It's that self-actualization. You know, and I feel that now, or recently I should say, that all the other foundational pieces have been there, and now these last months, this last year or so, year and a half, has really been creating that top piece of that pyramid. I think that's important to search for that top piece, to search for self-actualization, right? And I think it goes deeper into, you know, religion or spirituality. You hear about people like Muhammad, and people like Christ, people like Buddha, Krishnamurti. Another piece is to try to find some of those qualities within us that we can then also share with others. I think that's the big piece in that as well, right? You know, you have these mentors or these people we look up to, whether it's religion or spirituality or what have you, but not just say, hey, I do this or I do that. It's I am also that, or I can also be that.
Have you been like leaning into religion recently?
A little bit. My girlfriend is Christian, and I grew up Roman Catholic. My dad introduced me to her when I was a little kid. I was probably like 9 or 10. And he gave me this big old book about world religions. It was like 100 religions in there, and I love that book. I love you know, because what you kind of find is that messages are pretty much the same. That love for one another, caring for one another, do good unto others. You know, don't cheat, don't steal, don't lie. You know, those things are pretty universal, right? So, you know, but then it's also now then doing those things, right? One thing is to say, hey, I subscribe to XYZ philosophy. You know, it's also, I will do those things Monday through Sunday.
Got you interested in that.
I got into real estate, not as a realtor, you know, and with no previous experience. But one of my friends was a realtor, and he taught me some things. Unfortunately, he passed earlier this year. So last May, I started my journey as an options trader in the stock market.
NFTs?
No NFTs. That's funny you say that. Just options trading the stock market, buying and selling shares. It's a portion of a share, but.
Did you like learn on your own?
I landed into a Discord group and some people that I met. Just kind of was like, all right, let's do this. Feels right, and you know, and I have 2 LLCs for that. So that's been a little bit of entrepreneur experience I've developed. And it's fun.
What's your ultimate vision for entrepreneurship?
When I turned 40, I put a goal in my mind that I would be completely retired by 45. I turned 43. I feel that everything I've done the last 3 years, I'd say, since I put that thought on my mind, has been gearing towards it. I've been a full-time trader and doing, you know, sustaining myself pretty much, you know, ever since. I'm just entrepreneurial activity. Money's just flowing into my life. But then it's also, what are you doing behind the scene? It takes guts, and it takes courage, and it takes lots of effort, but it can be done.
My affirmation is I'm a bad bitch.
Yes. Yes.
But I have to do bad bitch exercise.
Yes. And it can, and I think there's something great to that saying. You know, what does it mean to be a bad bitch, as you say? You know, and I think some of that is having a thick skin. It's doing things other people wouldn't do. You know, there was a quote I just ran into. So, you can beat 50% of your competition by consistently showing up, working hard. You can beat the next 40% by doing things with urgency and detail. The last 10% is simply a dogfight.
That's a good quote.
That directly ties what you just said. Consistently working hard, showing up urgency, like you're looking at the minutia. And the last 10%, that's that bad bitch energy. Going in there, that's a dogfight. But in the end, that's what makes us champions in life. Hot dog eating champion, Joey Chestnut.
What is that?
Joey Chestnut. That's the hot dog. That's a Guinness World Book of Records of Joey Chestnut. Shout out.
Now that you've kind of you've been a nurse, you are a nurse, but now you're teaching the youth, you're guiding them. That's full circle.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. What's next? You've got 2 years till you retire, but nurses always say that they retire. But then I go to the Arizona Nurses Conference, and then there's an 80-year-old nurse, and she's like, I've been trying to retire for the last 15 years, and they keep dragging me back.
You know, I
feel like you're gonna keep mentoring people, teaching.
I think so. The piece that we're talking about with the retirement doesn't also mean sitting on a beach for the rest of my life. You know, it just means, kind of like we were hinting at, not depending on where your next paycheck is going to come from. And that allows for you to be completely into whatever you want to do. Whether it's your family, your kids, your husband, your wife, your community, again, your church, your mosque, your temple, your nursing community. I think right now the next 2 years are honing what I'm doing, getting better at where I'm at now. Because I was actually talking to a student earlier. There's always room for growth. There's always room for improvement. Right now, even though I may be hitting this peak of mine, there's still a higher peak. There's still more to be done within that. And I think that's just more self-growth, more learning, more Yes.
100. It's a good decision.
I'm glad I chose nursing. It was a natural progression of everything else that's happened in my life. In a spiritual sense, I feel blessed, and I feel that this is also, maybe so to speak, the karma of the energy that I've been putting out there the last couple of years. It's a reflection, maybe, of that. And so we'll continue.
That's what I love about you, Carlos. You're like one of the most positive, but also real people. Anytime that I've ever needed help, you've always been there. I feel equally as blessed to have you.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Likewise, friend. And I've shared that you're an entrepreneur to my students. I say one of my good friends, good colleagues from the MEPing program, but I also tell them, develop these relationships in the program because these are new friends. And look, we've been friends now for a long time. You and Spencer and some of the other people, and I think that's important because we can be there for each other.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Carlos.
As the great British poet Elton John said, "Circle of life." You know, nursing is always. That's what I would say. The jarrito. Jarrito. Little jar.
That's what that means?
Yeah.
That was somebody's last name.
It could be Juan Jarrito. Yeah.